What is up, you guys? This is the 400th episode of the Handmade Business Secrets podcast. And in this episode, I want to give you some of my top 10 business and life principles that I have learned that can hopefully help you on your journey. Let's dive in. All right, welcome back to the podcast. Welcome back to the channel. As always, I'm your host, Zach Vaught, and I'm so glad that you're here hanging out with me, learning and growing as an individual, as a woodworker, or as a custom furniture business owner. This is episode 400 in the Handmade Business Secrets podcast. We've been at this for a while now. It is crazy to think that I've been sitting in front of this camera or talking this much for this long, but I felt like I had something to share with the world, and I think we've helped a lot of people. And I want to spend this episode giving you my top 10 business and life lessons, okay? I spent some time on this. I want this to be super valuable to you and really hopefully help change and shift some things inside of your mind or your heart that may be holding you back from doing the thing that you feel called to do or that you think you should do. Just before I dive into these, I just want you to know, like, on my journey, I self-sabotaged, I doubted myself, and I had to kind of walk through this process of letting go of those things, knowing that this is what I felt called to do and what I was supposed to be doing in the season that I'm in, and going for it. I will say this, that to really build anything great, it just takes time and it's going to take some courage, okay? So I want to give you 10 principles here, 10 lessons that I've learned that can hopefully help you too. Okay, so number one is that if you're concerned about the opinions of strangers, you'll never get where you want to go. One of the things that I've realized is that getting online, putting myself out there, I have opened myself up for every hater and every troll on the internet, right? This is one of the things that when I first started really held me back, if I can be honest. I'm somewhat of a people pleaser. I don't like people to not like me, And so when you have an opinion about something, there are going to be people that disagree with your opinion, right? If you put yourself out there and make statements and share with the world your beliefs and why you believe it, there are going to be people that disagree with you. And if you let that keep you from sharing your opinion or putting yourself out there, you're never ever going to get where you want to go. And so one of the things that you have to become okay with is the fact that I can't please everybody. Not everybody's going to like me, and not everybody has the same opinion that I do, and that's okay. And also, by the way, one of the things that you'll realize is that as you start to grow something, you're going to have a large silent audience that doesn't really say anything, doesn't really comment on a lot of your stuff, but they are tuned in and they're locked in with you, and they share similar or the same beliefs that you do. But then what you'll find is that you'll have a small 1 to 5, maybe 10% group of people out of your total audience that disagrees with you, and they're the ones that always leave the hateful, mean comments, right? They're the ones that make you lay in bed at night and you're like, man, what am I even doing? I'm an idiot, right? And so you have to come to terms with the fact that you're going to have people that don't like you, that don't agree with you, and that's okay. If you're concerned about their opinion and you stress and worry about their opinion, you're never ever going to get where you're trying to go. So that's number one. Number two, second lesson I want to give you is that consistency beats intensity every time. One of the things that I struggled with when I first started trying to grow businesses and started trying to be consistent with any element of my life is that I would just go super hard in the paint and burn myself out and then stop doing it. This is episode 400 on my podcast. I'm telling you, I've figured out how to crack the code with consistency, and consistency eats intensity's lunch every day. And the reason being is because everything takes a lot of time. And I think people have unrealistic goals of like, I'm going to go super, super hard in the paint for a month or 2 months. And if I don't see the results I want, then I'm going to stop doing it. Well, there are some things that when we do, we need to have the awareness to recognize, is this helping me or is it not? If it's not helping me, then yeah, we need to have the self-awareness to stop. But long term, if you want to build a brand, if you want to build a strong custom furniture business, if you want to build a strong business in any way, you have to be okay with it just taking time. And the problem with things that take time is you have to be consistent. You have to be steady. You have to schedule it. You have to make time for it. You can't fly by the seat of your pants and hope to get where you're trying to go. So consistency is the number one thing that I would encourage you with on your journey. Be consistent. Schedule out what you need to do and do it every day. That's number two. Number three is that if you can't regulate your emotions in the bad times, you'll never get a chance to see the good times again. One thing that I've learned is that life is a bit of a roller coaster. You're going to have great days that are super memorable, that are incredible, and you're going to have some of the worst days of your life, especially, my friend, as a business owner. You're going to get kicked in the teeth over and over and over some days, some weeks, some months. And one of the things that I've learned is that if you don't learn how to regulate your emotions, then all the strategies in the world that are going to help, that would help take you to success, you don't ever get a chance to implement them because you're so volatile as a person that you can't make the progress that you need to make. And so we have clients come in and leave the Woodworking Business Accelerator program a lot because they don't have the ability to regulate their emotions in the downtimes, in the slow seasons. One of the things that is so true of our clients that have been with us for a long time, that have been successful for a long time, is that all of them have had bad months. Like, all of them have had really bad experiences. All of them have made giant mistakes, but they learned how to regulate their emotions, reset, and come back to the table and try again. And so the ability, I believe, as a person to regulate your emotions and not get too high when things are good and not get too low when things are bad, but try to stay somewhere in the middle, that skill set is ultimately one of the most necessary skill sets that you have to have in order to grow something big or grow something successful in your life. Number 4, the difference between winners and losers are that winners aren't afraid of failure. Obviously, nobody likes to fail. Winners don't like to fail either. But the difference between a winner and a loser is that winners aren't so afraid of failure that they never try. This is one of the things that held me back for a very long time, was that I was afraid of trying and failing. What if I do it and I look stupid? What if I do it and I prove all the haters right? What if I do it and my wife doesn't approve of it, or my friends don't approve of it, or my pastor doesn't approve of it? What if I go for it and put my neck out there and everybody laughs at me? The reality is that anytime you try to recreate yourself, and anytime that you try to put yourself in a position to succeed, everybody that's used to the old you is going to have an opinion about that. They're going to be like, oh, well, look at you. Look at you, little Mr. YouTube. Look at you, little Mr. Podcaster. Look at you. Ooh, you think you're something, huh? You're always going to get that. And you just got to know that it's coming, and you just got to say, yep, I'm going for it. If you don't go for it, you'll never know, okay? And the reality is, and I've talked about this in episodes in the past, but you're going to have failures. Like, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to fail on a micro level. The goal, in my opinion, is to experience a lot of these micro failures so I can learn and fix them and get better, and so that I'm not doing it anymore, so that I have macro success. In my opinion, macro failure looks like the fact that I never did it. I never tried. I never went for it. And I'm living the same life every year, and I'm the same person year after year after year. I'm never growing. I'm never learning. I'm never changing. I'm never developing. I want to change every year. I want to get better. I want to learn. I don't want to be the exact same person next year that I was this year, right? And so the difference between winners and losers is that winners aren't afraid of failure to the point that it keeps them from trying. You've got to go for it. If you want to do something different with your life, if you want to build something different, you have to be willing to take risks that 99% of people aren't willing to take, and then bet on yourself that you can figure it out. Number 5, this one is huge. I want to encourage you to listen to this one. You're not as far away from a completely different financial future as you might think. I was talking with a friend of mine just yesterday. They make a modest living. They make probably $50,000 to $60,000 a year, but he's very good at a skill set. And I was talking about how he can take that and how he could make twice or 3 times as much money, really focusing on that skill set as opposed to just focusing on his day job. He's like, yeah, I don't know. I think maybe that might be the case, or I don't know. Well, I don't know how to do this, or I don't know how to do that, or how does that work, or how does this work, right? And he gets stuck in the weeds. But the reality is that a lot of times, especially like in the custom furniture world, or in the woodworking world, or whatever it is that you're trying to go for, like if you sell expensive things, let's say your day job right now, you make $5 or $6 grand a month, or $7 grand a month. If you can get to where you sell 5 tables for $2 to $3 grand per table, you're going to be making $10,000 to $15,000 a month, and you're going to be netting half of that. It's not that hard to do that. And one of the things that helped me realize that growth wasn't an impossible thing for me and my business was one day I was stuck at like $30,000 a month inside of my custom furniture business. And I was like, man, I really want to get to $60,000 a month. And I started looking at all the numbers, and I realized that to get to $30,000 a month, I was only selling like 8 to 10 clients a month to do that. And then I started thinking, I'm like, how much harder is it to get 8 more yeses a month? If I'm already getting 8, how much harder is it to get another 8? Well, it's really not that hard. And so this gave me hope and gave me a belief of like, man, I don't have to move heaven and earth here to hit my goal. I can get there pretty reasonably. And so with number 5, I want you to just know that you're not as far away as you think from a completely different financial future, a completely different life. Now, are there big hurdles you still have to overcome to get there? Yeah, you got to learn things you don't know, right? You have to discover things you've never even thought of before. Try things and fail and figure it out, right? This is part of starting and launching and growing a business. But with that, once you slay a dragon, typically you don't have to slay it again. It's dead. You've figured it out and you can move on to the next thing inside of your business. Okay, so you're not as far away from a completely different financial future as you might think you are. Okay, number 6, this one's huge too, okay? There is no difference between the ultra successful and you other than they know something that you don't know. This is one of the things that I think keeps a lot of people playing small and keeps a lot of people stuck, is that they look at the people in their town or their city that are very wealthy or do very good financially, and they think, well, I could never be there. I could never do what they do. I could never make the kind of money that they make. And the truth is, they get up and they put their pants on one leg at a time, just like you. But the difference is that they know something that you don't know, and that usually comes down to leverage. They know how to get more money per unit of time that they have. You know, everybody wants to dog on get rich quick schemes or get rich quick, but the only way to get rich is to get rich quick. You know, if it takes you 2 lifetimes to get rich, you're not going to get rich. So how do I compress that into a lifetime? How do I compress that into a 5 or 10 or 15 year span of time? You know, from my mid-20s to my mid-40s, I'd love to get rich and be done. How do you do that? Well, you learn things that you didn't previously know. You think about things differently in a different way than you used to think, right? And the difference between the ultra successful or the ultra wealthy and you is not that they have more time, it's not that they have more energy, it's that they know something you don't know. And if you can lean into education and lean into learning something new, you can get there too. Number 7, you can't build anything great completely by yourself. You need a guide and you need a team. This is one of the things that I had to learn on my journey, and I am a bit more of a loner than most people. I know that sometimes you might think that I'm super extroverted by these videos, but I'm really not. I'm pretty introverted by nature. I could be completely content just bebopping along completely by myself most of the time. And so my tendency is to really lean on myself and not lean on a team or lean on a mentor or a guide very often. But really, my business started to grow when I started to build a team. And you need a good team. You need a team to help you with the things that you're not good at. You need a team, an accountant. You need a banker. You need a lawyer. You need people on your side that can help you with the things that you don't know anything about. And so you need to be able to continue to operate in your zone of genius and build a team around the things that aren't your strengths, okay? Number 8, this is probably the most valuable one that I can give you. Temporary businesses aren't worth sacrificing lifelong gifts. I've seen so many people burn down their marriage, burn down their relationship with their children, burn down their relationship with their friends, trying to build a business that may only last 2 to 5 to 10 years. When in fact, God gave you your spouse, God gave you your kids, God gave you your friends to be lifelong connections. Now, not every friend is a lifelong connection, but don't build something temporary and sacrifice something lifelong in order to do so. It's foolishness. Now, that's not to say that there aren't seasons where you have to invest more time and energy, but don't neglect what God gave you for a lifetime to build what He might have only given you for a season. Number 9, do more of what you're great at and hire for what you're not good at. There are things that you are uniquely gifted to do. That is your superpower. That's a thing that you're good at, right? You need to do more of those things. You need to spend more time there. If you'll spend all of your time doing the things that you're really good at, you'll grow. Okay, and then you need to outsource and hire the things that you're not good at. Now, with that, I will say there are some things that you need to learn to get good at. So one of the biggest things that you need to learn to get good at inside a business is you probably need to learn how to market and sell. This is where everything starts in business. If you don't know how to market and sell, you're never going to get traction, right? So if you're a great woodworker, but you don't know how to market or sell, or you don't partner with somebody that knows how to market or sell, you're never going to get where you're trying to go. You have to develop that skill or partner with somebody that does. But you need to do more of what you're great at and hire for what you're not good at, except for marketing and sales, I would say, okay? And then number 10, I'll leave you with this one. Life is too short and life is too long to hate what you do every day. I know a lot of you are watching this video and you get up early and go to a job every day that you don't like. And you've been thinking about making the jump into becoming a full-time woodworker or a full-time custom furniture maker. And I can't tell you when that's the right call. I can't tell you if that's the right call, but I can tell you this. There are thousands of jobs, millions of opportunities out there. And if you're like scraping by and you're doing a job that you can't stand, go get another job. Like if you work with a boss that sucks, if you have coworkers that you can't stand to be around, go get a different job. I've seen too many people spend their entire life at the same place for the sake of safety and consistency. And what I tend to see happen is that company gets bought out, new guy rolls in and says, hey, we're laying off half of you, see you later, go home. When you've spent the last 20 years there out of loyalty, when you hate it, you didn't like it, you didn't like who you worked with, you didn't like your boss, you didn't like what you're doing. Life is too short, man. I mean, one of the things I've realized lately is that, like, my parents are getting older. Like, I'm 33 now. I'm getting older. Life is flying by, and time is slipping through my hands, and I can't slow it down. And so the end of my life is coming. I'm getting closer and closer to it every day. And the one thing that I want to be able to look back on in my life is to know that I loved my wife and loved my kids really good, that I honored God with my life, that I made a difference and spoke life into people and encouraged people. I don't want to look back and be like, man, I should have gone for it, but I didn't. I should have tried, but I didn't. I hated my job because I just felt like I just had to be a provider. Well, dude, you can be a provider doing what you love to do. You don't have to suffer every day and hate what you do for the sake of being a provider. You can make money in today's age doing just about anything that you want to do. So don't spend this short life that you have doing something that you hate doing every day. Okay, you can build anything you want to build, and you can do it within about 3 to 5 years usually, and build something that's going to completely replace your income. Life is too short. With this all being said, this is the 400th podcast episode of this. I hope these 10 principles are speaking to you and hopefully helping you on your journey. If you haven't liked or subscribed yet, be sure to do that. If you've been watching these videos for a long time, for the sake of celebrating, I'd love to know in the comments. Like, man, I've been following your journey, Zach, for a long time. This is helpful to me. I'd love to connect with you. I know a lot of you guys watch these videos over and over and over as we drop a couple videos a week, and I never hear from you. I would love to know, just for my own sake, how these videos have helped you or how these podcast episodes have spoken to you and hopefully made a bit of a difference in your life. And so with that, I'm going to wrap this thing up. I love you guys so much, and I appreciate your loyalty, appreciate you following along. Love you, and I'll see you in the next video.